In today's update episode, we're going to be taking a look around the garden, as we always do. There's been a lot of progress since the last one. It's been a little while, a couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to taking you around. I haven't really been inside the greenhouse as much as I'd like recently because I've just been so busy. So join me today while we take a proper look around. We can see there's been quite a lot of progress in here since the last update video, and the plants are looking nice and healthy. I'm pretty happy with how they've progressed, except for these first 6 over here. These are a little bit smaller. I had a bit of a problem. There were some blockages with the drippers that I was using. All the dirt maybe had accumulated at the end of this line, but I fixed it now. I've replaced the drippers, so the ones that were blocked I've gone and replaced with these little black ones here. So the ones I'm using for my other plants are pretty much these blue ones, but I think I'm going to switch over permanently to these black ones because they're serviceable. I can actually take the end off and clean them out. So here I have a bag full of these new drippers, and we'll see how they go through the season, whether I'll recommend them, but so far I'm pretty happy with them. And we can see that there are still some peppers coming through and a couple of ripe ones as well, but the plants are quite a bit smaller than the others. So let's have a quick look through and see how these are all doing. Quite a few new peppers coming through and quite a few ripe ones as well. And these 2 plants here, these are my experimental ones. The one I've got the bat guano in this side, and then I've got the vermicompost in that one. So if you watched my recent video where I was comparing the 2 composts, those are the plants. And we can see, of course, that the vermicompost one is still quite a bit shorter than this, but at this point the nutrients would have been pretty much used up. That would have made any difference because it's been more than a month now with these. So at the moment they're just going to get exactly the same amount of nutrients in that. So we'll see if this one can catch up, because I am obviously feeding these now using my dripper system, and I'm pretty sure it will catch up. But we can see there's quite a few flowers. There are a few peppers that are forming. There were already 2 or 3 on here when I did that video a couple of weeks back, but a heck of a lot more peppers coming through on the vermicompost one. Over here, the hydro system, still looking good. The plants are looking really healthy. Obviously we've had a bit of slug damage or snail damage chawing on these leaves, but I'm not too worried about it because there's enough new growth that it's not a problem. And we can see this plant that has been eaten a little bit is still showing some nice peppers back there. And you can see also I've had to put some supports up because these were starting to fall over. I've got a few on these last 3, the string that I used to support them. Again, I have made a video on this, so I'll link to it up above if you want to see how I do this, but it's pretty basic. You can see that there are some big old peppers in there, and that was what was weighing this down. So when it gets heavy like that, it's just going to bring the whole plant pretty much on its side. These are my cayenne and my peri-peris on these 6 plants over here, and they're doing nicely. This one had a bit of aphid attack, this cayenne over here, and you can see the remnants of that, but the aphids are all pretty much dead now, and with the weather warming up, I'm not too worried about getting any more aphids through the season. And let's have a look down here. These 6 plants are my Superhots. I have a few other Superhots, but these ones here are 6 that I'm really trying to look after because I want quite a lot of lovely hot peppers from them. This one here is a chocolate maruga, and we can see that there are some flowers coming through. Just bear in mind, if you are growing Superhots for the first time, then they do take quite a bit longer than some of the other families of peppers. They're part of the capsicum chenense variety. Most Superhots are, if not all of them. And they do have a much longer season than things like your jalapeno or your bird's eye, or even things like the Buena Mulata. So just bear that in mind, have a bit of patience. They will come through eventually, and when they do come through, you'll be rewarded with some serious heat. You might also notice these bags that I'm using. If you haven't watched my videos in the past, like my season updates from last year, you might not be aware of what they are. I use them to isolate my flowers so that the peppers that come from within this bag, I can get the seeds from them and make sure that they're going to grow true. So for example, that one there is a 7-pot habanero. All the peppers that come through here and pollinate, I know will be true because they would have self-pollinated. Chili plants are pretty unique out of the plant families, or there's quite a few other plants that do it as well, but chili plants can self-pollinate. They don't need a second flower to actually pollinate themselves. The same flower that the pepper comes from can be pollinated by itself. And we use that to our advantage when you do want to isolate the seeds and make sure that they grow true, and that's what I'm doing here. So before the flowers open, I just go and stick a bag over, so you can see like this one here, these flowers haven't yet opened. So I've stuck a bag on. As soon as they do open, I will just come over here every couple of days, give it a bit of a shake, and it should self-pollinate. Let's have a look down here. I have some big old flowers coming through. This is a Ancha poblano. Make sure that you watch the video that I put out showing you how to enter the competition. So these here are my ChilliChump Seedkit plants. And if you are going to enter the competition, I've put the rules up in a video so you can see how to enter. But I'm still trying to cultivate a big one. Most of them are rather small at the moment, but I had a couple bigger ones here. One that I used for an example in that video just to show you how you can enter. But I will hopefully get some bigger ones through the season. We'll see how we do. They do taste lovely, by the way, so don't throw them away once you've weighed them. Make sure you snack on them because they are delicious. These peppers that I was teasing a little bit earlier, those look amazing. These are bendigos or bendagos, and they'll ripen to bright red. They are lovely peppers. I'll be doing a taste test a little bit later in the season as well, but they are just beautiful. And what else we got here? So there's quite a few peppers coming through here. This one is my Serrano. Yeah, that's another one I'm quite interested to taste. I know that in America these are very popular. I haven't actually personally tried one before, so I'm quite interested to see how that tastes. We've got quite a few coming through there, and I'm sure it won't be long before I have a few ripe ones. What else we got here? So the peri-peri are taking their time this year. Normally they are quite an early fruiting and early ripening pepper, but not so much this year. Let's take a closer look at my ChilliChump Seedkit, and you can compare the progress of your own plants to the progress that mine are seeing. Unfortunately, the weather has not been conducive to the perfect growing conditions for our chili plants, and that is apparent when you look at how sparse it is down here. This should be far more bushed out. We can see that there's a start of a few nodes that are going to come through, and well, there's one that has come through down here, but this is really going to bush out quite a lot. As soon as we start getting some decent sunshine, maybe even a bit of a heat wave, then we'll really see some progress. But for now, there's still some peppers coming through on the Ancha poblano. This is my second one that I have growing, and there's quite a few coming through, but not the size that I'd like it. It's definitely not going to win the competition, that's for sure. But again, we can see that there is some nodal growth starting over there, and again we'll see some more down there and down there. And when the sunshine starts really settling in and we have a good solid few weeks of sunshine and warmth, then we'll really see some progress on all the plants really, but obviously we're focusing in on the ChilliChump Seedkit. Plants at the back there as well, that's the turbo pube. You can see that the stalk down there is pretty sparse as well. That should also be bushing out quite a bit. I don't think there are any flowers coming through on the turbo pube just yet. No peppers for sure. Although we have got some peppers on the ahi crystal. We've got a couple that are actually trying to ripen, so it's looking nice. And you can see a few more at the back there that are coming through, but those are quite green still. And then there's a lovely looking one just over there. Lots of flowers coming through there, but again that plant should be bushing out a lot more than what it is at the moment. At the back right, that is a jalapeno mammoth, and we have some jalapenos coming through, which is quite interesting because that there looks like it's going to be a jalapeno. That there looks like it's something else completely. No idea what's going on, but that's on exactly the same branch. You can see that. So it'll be interesting to see how these develop, if I have any more that look like that. We can see a few jalapenos coming through there, those are looking good. So at least some of the plants are showing some progress. Hopefully yours are as well. And let me know in the comments below what yours are doing. If you've seen similar growth to me, or if yours are like twice the size of mine. If you've got better weather than I have, then I'm sure you're going to have a far better looking plant than the ones I have over here. The little experiment I was trying, where I had plants in the middle directly in the soil versus plants on either side in pots, I think it hasn't worked out quite the way I thought it would. So the ones in the center are doing quite well. There are a few that are looking amazing. So if we have a look down here, we'll look at this one, which I need to actually stake up. But you can see, look at the base of that, that's huge. And I need to string that up like I've done over here with some of these other plants. But that thing is looking huge and much bigger than the ones in the pots. So there's still time in the season to see whether there is a change. But at the moment it's looking like plants in the soil, as long as the soil can be kept warm and raised like these are in raised beds, then I think it looks like that's the winner. One thing I did notice is that by putting them in pots, I seem to have encouraged these to fruit a lot sooner than the ones that are directly in the soil. So that at least has been proven right. And you can see I've got some ripe Antep Ahidolmas over there and over here as well. Both of these plants will plant it at the same time as this one over here. So the plant is bigger, about twice as big, but the fruit is still green, so we haven't yet got any ripe ones coming through there. But one thing I can see is that these are a lot bigger, so hope you can make that out. Everything is green here, but look at that, that thing is it's pretty massive, but they haven't yet ripened. So I guess that's a bit of a trade-off. If you want bigger plants and you want bigger fruit, then sticking them directly in the soil seems to do the job. Just make sure that it's in a raised bed like that, especially if you're in the sort of growing area that I'm in, where it can be a bit colder. By having it raised like that, it keeps the temperature of the roots a little bit higher than what it is if it was down in the ground directly, like below that level. But this is looking good. I need to do a little bit of weeding. You can see at the back left over there, there are some weeds that need to come out, and yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I need to do a lot of supporting of some of these plants that have grown very quickly. There's one other chili plant outside that I need to show you, and let's go and have a look at that, see how it's doing. This here is my violet sparkle that I have outdoors inside a hanging basket. And we can see that it really hasn't grown very much at all. It's more of an ornamental at this point. Still pretty, and it's nice to have it outdoors in our entertainment area, but really has not grown much since the last time I showed it to you. And that's down to two things. I think the main one is down to the elements. The fact is it's exposed, it's not covered like it is in the greenhouse and in the polytunnel. So when it rains, it just gets a ton of water. When it's cold, it doesn't have protection from that. But the other thing, of course, is it's in a very small pot. There's not a lot of compost in there. I am feeding it, so I am giving it the same feed that I'm giving the plants inside the polytunnel and the greenhouse, but still you can see that is just tiny. And that's the problem when you're growing in the kind of climate that we're in here in England. You're going to have this problem if you can't provide the protection to your plants. Let's take a look in the grow shed and see what's going on in here. This time we actually have two plants to show you. I'll first show you the one that you've seen before, and that is this one over here. We have been picking a lot of the peppers here because I am going to be drying these seeds, and I'll be putting them up on my shop, so if you guys want to buy some, you can. What I've noticed is there's a lot of leaf drop down the bottom. I'm going to actually trim this plant back. I've been holding off on doing that until I did this video, just so I could show you what was happening. And I think it's just down to the fact that the light's not really getting down to the bottom, so those leaves are dropping off. They're not actually having any function at this point, so there's no need for them. At the top here, it's still very healthy. The plant is still looking good, the colors are good, and we're still getting a lot of peppers coming through. So I'm going to trim this right back and you'll see quite a different plant the next time I give you an update on this. So something else to point out is this light. I have reduced the amount of time that I have that on per day. So before, like most of my lights, I have them on at 16 hours a day, but I've reduced this down to 12 hours, and that's purely down to cost, nothing else. If I didn't care about how much it cost, how much energy it was using, then I'd leave this on 16 hours a day. But yeah, I've just reduced it down. It's making a massive dent in the electricity bill. Let's have a look at this other plant of mine and see how it is doing. This is the one that is my cross pepper, so a cross between lemon drop and my peri peri. And look at that, it has really grown nicely, and we have a few buds starting to show. Thankfully, I was worried that it wasn't going to flower, but it looks like it is going to, and I can't wait to see what the flowers look like. And even more than that, I'm looking forward to seeing what the peppers are going to look like and taste like. But this plant's doing well, and the system is doing well. I haven't had to fill this up just yet. You can see, I don't know if you can see because it's quite dark, but it's about 3/4 full still. And I'll probably switch it out, put some fresh nutrients in there in maybe a week and a half. But this plant is looking good, and we'll keep an eye on it over the next few weeks. This light is on for 16 hours a day at the moment, just because this is my baby, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it grows, and I want to give it the best possible environment so that it does a good job. Something that isn't pepper related, but something I'm really excited about, is my squash archway. Look at that, that is just awesome. It turned out exactly as I had planned and hoped, and I'm just really happy with that. What a result. I've had to do a bit of training to get these things to grow up along the archway, but once they started, they just did their own thing. And we see some beautiful squashes, and oh, this one needs to be picked. I was waiting until I did this video so that I could actually pick it, because it is huge, and we might have that for dinner tonight actually. Got another one over here, and another big one, and one that I'm really wanting to pick is over here. This is a gem squash. I'll be selling seeds for these as well. These are a bit of a delicacy back in South Africa. When I say delicacy, they are very common and everybody eats them, but I really battled to find them here. They are delicious, and I will be doing a video soon to show you how I cook them. Really easy, but so tasty. But yeah, this is just awesome. I'm so excited about this, and now I just have plans for an even bigger one next year. I'd love a full archway going all the way down. That would be pretty cool. And we can have a look at some other plants. This is an eggplant, or aubergine, and we have a few flowers coming through finally. I've never managed to actually get my aubergine to fruit. Hopefully this year I'll be able to, but they're looking quite healthy. And we have some more squashes, and of course my corn. We've got lovely corn here, and got a little friend in there, my lovely little ladybugs. They look after us, get rid of the aphids. But we've got some beautiful corn coming through on most of the stalks, and loads more squashes. We've got some lovely peas growing, so we can pick some of those for our dinner tonight. I planted some peas and beans against each one of the corn, and most of them have come up. Not all of them, but most of them. So we've got quite a few of those. I'm sure we can find enough for dinner tonight. One other squash I wanted to point out is my patty pan squash. So these guys down below these leaves, there we go. Those are lovely things as well. Another South African delicacy. Absolutely love them. So we might have one or two of those as well tonight. Man, we're gonna have a lot of vegetables. I've been waiting to pick any of these just so I could show you guys on video, but it just looks so beautiful. I love having a garden looking like this. It's just awesome. So this is the last patch to have a look at. It is the one that is a bit shaded. Well, it's not shaded anymore at this time of year, but at the beginning of the year it's quite shaded, but you can see it's playing catch up now, And the squash are doing really well. We even have some patty pan squash down there, and loads more are going to be coming through. You can see all the flowers developing, and they're all going to start pollinating, but doing really well. We even have some corn coming through, not as well developed as the ones in the full sunshine, but still we got corn, so that's good. And we got some peas coming through over here. They're lovely. The ones that I planted against this support over here didn't come up, so no peas or beans or runner beans or anything like that. But at least we're going to have some over here, so that's good. Before I sign off, I wanted to put a big thank you out there to all of you who have been ordering from my shop. It has been a busy couple of weeks, and I really do appreciate all the support you guys are showing me. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned a couple of things, and I really hope that your season is going well too. Until the next episode, stay safe and stay spicy.